Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for telling my sister that a pregnancy announcement doesn't count as a Christmas present? My 32M family gets together every year for Christmas for a week or so at a popular vacation spot in our state. This has been a tradition since I was a kid, and every year we do a Secret Santa exchange. Anyone over 18 is put into the pool, which helps cut down on expenses as you only need to purchase a present for one adult instead of all the siblings, parents, aunts, uncles, etc. Kids and teens under 18 would get individual presents, but the youngest is my sister, who is 24F, so it hasn't come up for a while. My sister, Heather, 24F, is the one who had my name this year. She gave me a positive pregnancy test wrapped up to look like a DVD set of my favorite show. I unwrapped it and congratulated her, but was curious about what happened to the DVDs. I thought maybe she had them set aside, since she had the packaging for the box set. She got mad and told me that her present to me and the family was the pregnancy, and that she didn't have the DVDs. I told her that I was happy for her, but felt a little cheated. The Secret Santa presents are supposed to be either handmade or between $50 and $100, so they're usually high-quality presents. Also, Heather didn't tell any of us that she was trying to get pregnant. She isn't married, and we don't love her boyfriend, so it was kind of mixed news anyways. I get that she was trying to be cute, but AITA for expecting the DVDs / a real present? Her present from my aunt was a $100 gift card to a spa she loves, for reference. My parents think I should just be happy there will be a niece or nephew, but it still doesn't seem fair, and I just don't think a niece or nephew in 6 months counts as a Secret Santa present. What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for refusing to ski with child of wife's friend when it became clear they exaggerated his skill level? I, 48M, have a vacation house adjacent to a ski area. I've owned it since before I met my wife and had kids, 11M and 13M. The kids have grown up skiing 25 to 35 days a year, do lots of lessons, and as a result they are both excellent skiers. My wife invited a colleague, Annie, and her family, including a 12-year-old son, Tom, to come out after Christmas for a few days. My kids aren't friendly with Tom. To my wife's chagrin, she is weirdly invested in being regarded by this woman as a friend, and having a friendship between the kids would help, largely because the boy cannot help himself from trying to one-up all his peers, often with obvious fabulism. His parents tend to indulge his exaggerations. We've more than once heard how great he is at some skill or hobby, only to discover he is a notch above a tyro. The parents want to spend their time out here cross-country skiing. My wife said she'd accompany them, and then voluntold me that I could take their son along with my kids when we were to go downhill skiing. My wife related that Jane told her Tom is a good skier. My kids both gave me a look. We all knew it is likely Tom is very far from a good skier. I told me wife I was not going to sacrifice our holiday ski time babysitting the son of a colleague I didn't want her to invite in the first place. She insisted I take him. The compromise we reached is that I would show Jane and Tom what sort of terrain we intended to ski. If they attested he could do it, I'd take him, but if it turned out he was not capable, she would need to pick him up and figure out what to do with him for the rest of the visit. For example, they could enroll him in skill-appropriate group lessons. Just as my kids and I suspected, Jane and Tom told us he was an excellent skier and would have no trouble keeping up. And likewise, in line with our hunch, the moment we went to drop into a bowl, he freaked out and wouldn't do it. I called my wife to come get him. She said they were mid-cross country and couldn't make it. I said that was not what we agreed. I took Tom to the lodge and put him in kindercare, which usually only goes up to age 7, but since I know a lot of the staff at the mountain, they took him, and left a voicemail for my wife to let her and Tom's parents know. We skied for 3 hours and never heard from them. We stopped by KinderCare on the way out and Tom was still there, unhappy. Jane, her husband, and my wife were not happy when they finally got in touch and learned what I did. I told them that Tom was not capable of keeping up, that it's not surprising or a bad reflection on Tom, because my kids have had a very unusual amount of skiing experience. But the fact is that I was very clear about the difficulty level of what we intended to ski, and we could have made other arrangements for Tom if they had been honest about his skill level. So, was this a bad person move or reasonable? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for accepting jewelry from my sisters that belong to our mom when it symbolizes the end of our relationship? I, 19F, have 2 younger sisters, Sarah, 16, and Leah, 15. When we were younger, 5, 6, and 9, our mom died. She had left us each 3 of her most sentimental pieces of jewelry. I got her locket, her family bracelet, and a ring she owned. Sarah got her name necklace, a pair of earrings she wore to everything, and a bracelet Dad bought her. While Leah got 2 necklaces Mom had since her teens that she wore on certain occasions, and a ring that she felt was good luck. 2 years after Mom died, our dad met Cindy and they got married. Sarah and Leah loved her fast and started calling her Mom. I always called her Cindy and didn't even say she was my stepmom. My sisters hated it and they told me I should call her Mom too and we should make this a family. They said they loved her and wanted it to be the same as it was before, when Mom was alive. I told them I didn't love Cindy and didn't want things to be the same with her. I told them it could never be. Mom was too important. Cindy and I did get along fine for years. But then she was upset with me because my sisters made a big deal about being adopted by her without me, and after that things became strained. My sisters never forgave me for ruining how they felt their adoption should go. They said it was like I only cared about Mom and loved her the most. I said I loved the 2 of them, Dad and Mom the same. They said I loved Mom more than Cindy, and I said the difference still was that I loved Mom, period. Sarah told me I wasn't their sister anymore that time and that I was an outsider nobody wanted. I left some stuff when I moved out and started college, and my sisters went through my journal. I had wrote in my journal how much them calling Cindy Mom hurt me and how I wish my dad had never met Cindy and it had stayed the 4 of us. This was a journal I kept when I was 13. They also found the page I wrote the day of Dad and Cindy's wedding where I wrote everything that was better about my mom over Cindy. They sent me photos of pages that they found the worst, including the ones I mentioned, and told me I was an evil bitch and they couldn't believe I would write any of that or even think Cindy wasn't good enough and amazing and perfect. I told them they had no business going through my old journal. My dad, when I told him, took the journal and sent me that and another notebook that had some journal-like stuff inside. He also talked to my sisters, but they were so angry. When I went home for Christmas last year, they told me they liked it better when I wasn't around because they could be a real family and they didn't have to deal with me treating Cindy like she was just a woman Dad married. They said I ruined our family and that they hated Mom because I loved her so much. Dad was furious with them. But for months I didn't speak to them at all. And I only spoke to them once this summer when I visited for a day. They told me Cindy had breast cancer and I should have dropped out of school to be there for her. I tried to ask if they were okay and if they were scared, but they said I was making it about Mom when my mind went there and they told me to fuck off. Dad didn't know about that conversation. I didn't see them or speak to them again until the 24th. I dropped off stuff for them and stayed for lunch before going to my grandparents for the rest of Christmas. While I was there, my sisters brought the jewelry Mom wanted them to have and they told me to take it. They said if I did it showed I would never accept Cindy like everyone wanted and I would be no longer their sister and they wanted nothing to do with me. Dad was there and tried to talk it down. They said they wanted to throw it in the trash and make me suffer, but they wanted to see what I'd do. I knew they meant it all, so I took it and I left. Dad told me he was going to get them more extensive therapy. They've already been going for years and try to fix this, but I don't think it can be done. They both text me now and say I'm the worst sister and daughter to Cindy, and how dare I do this? That I should have let the jewelry go in the trash. Am I the bad person? Can't wrap my head around that story. What do you think? Who is in the wrong there? Let us know down in the comments section, and let's move on to our last case. Case 4. Am I the bad person for refusing to pay for my daughter's wedding after finding out her fiancé used to bully my son? I, 50M, have 2 kids, my daughter, 25F, who is getting married next year, and my son, 23M, who came out as gay in high school. My son had a really rough time in school. He was bullied relentlessly, and it took a toll on his mental health. He's doing much better now, but those years left scars. Last month, my daughter introduced us to her fiancé, 27M. I recognized him immediately as one of the kids who made my son's life hell. When I quietly brought it up to my son later, he confirmed it, but told me not to make a big deal about it because he's moved on. Here's the thing, I haven't moved on. I can't stand the thought of helping pay for a wedding to someone who tormented my son. I told my daughter this, and she said her fiancé has changed and regrets his actions. She asked me to let it go for her sake. I said I'm happy for her, but that I can't, in good conscience, fund the wedding. Now, my daughter is furious with me and claims I'm punishing her for something she had no part in. My wife thinks I should reconsider, but I feel like funding this wedding would betray my son. My son is staying neutral and says he doesn't want to be the reason for family drama, but I can tell the situation is making him uncomfortable. My daughter says I'm ruining her big day and being petty. Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.